Good evening, viewers. Welcome to tonight's regional news. We begin with news from Chile. Chilean authorities on Monday announced the end of a state of emergency in force since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. This announcement was followed by the official rollout of the vaccination campaign for children between 6 and 11 years old using the China's Sinovac vaccine, which received approval for emergency in September. Chile has spearheaded one of the world's fastest and most successful vaccination drives, with nearly 3/4 of its population fully vaccinated, as such infections have plummeted as a result. Now for news from Cuba. Cuba has begun commercial exports of its homegrown COVID-19 vaccines, sending shipments of the 3-dose Abdala vaccine to Vietnam and Venezuela. Cuba is open to extend exports of its locally developed vaccines and last week asked the World Health Organization to approve them, which many countries require before importing vaccines. Cuban scientists have said the vaccines are more than 90% effective against COVID-19, though like all vaccines currently available, less so against mere infection. On the international scene, Japan's government announced Tuesday that the coronavirus state of emergency will end this week to help rejuvenate the economy as infections slow. As such, the emergency will end on Thursday and virus restrictions will ease gradually. However, the government will create more temporary COVID-19 treatment facilities and continue vaccinations to prepare for any future resurgence. With this lifting, Japan will be free of emergency requirements for the first time in more than 6 months. Japan's current state of emergency, declared in April, was repeatedly extended, despite public weariness and frustration over the measures. Japan has managed to avoid the more restrictive lockdowns imposed elsewhere, while recording about 1.69 million cases and 17,500 deaths from COVID-19. We now turn our attention to Korea. Animal rights groups on Tuesday welcomed the South Korean president's offer to look into banning the consumption of dog meat. During a meeting with his prime minister on Monday, President Moon Jae-in asked if it's time to carefully consider a ban. It's unclear when a review would take place and when or whether a ban would be realized. A few activists gathered in central Seoul on Tuesday to call for the government and parliament to work out steps to officially prohibit dog meat consumption. A public survey in 2018 indicated about 80% of South Koreans had not eaten dog meat in the previous year. Lee said an estimated about 1 million dogs are still killed each year in South Korea for food. Some older people in South Korea believe that dog meat enhances sexual stamina. We end tonight's regional news by telling you that Kelly, the R&B superstar known for his anthem, I Believe I Can Fly, was convicted Monday in a sex trafficking trial after decades of avoiding criminal responsibility for numerous allegations of misconduct with young women and children. A jury of 7 men and 5 women found Kelly guilty of racketeering on their second day of deliberations. The charges were based on an argument that the entourage of managers and aides who helped the singer meet girls and keep them obedient and quiet amounted to a criminal enterprise. At the trial, several of Kelly's accusers testified without using their real names to protect their privacy and prevent possible harassment by the singer's fans. Jurors were shown homemade videos of Kelly engaging in sex acts that prosecutors said were not consensual. Kelly, born Robert Sylvester Kelly, has been jailed without bail since in 2019. The trial was delayed by the coronavirus pandemic and Kelly's last-minute shakeup of his legal team. And that concludes your regional news. Thank you for joining. Good night.